Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Chicks, Three Seats. We're entering Memorial Day weekend this weekend, and in Boston, as of tomorrow, May 29th, that means that bars are back, masks are no longer required for vaccinated people in most places, and restaurant requirements like tables being 6 feet apart, 90-minute reservation limits, and party size capacities are no longer going to be in place. Wow.
Crazy. Never thought.
Round of applause.
Yeah. We need the applause machine again.
I know. Oh, I miss that so much. Cue a sound machine with the applause. But I mean, this is amazing, big news for the restaurant industry in Boston, and I'm sure I feel like similar things are happening across the country too.
Absolutely.
This is a big weekend, like summer's here. So I mean, this means that all those things are true, but individual restaurants still do have the choice to require diners to wear masks if they choose to, but the state rule in Massachusetts now says that masks are not required for vaccinated people except where required on like federal property, like public transportation systems, which I feel like that's kind of the norm in general now. But I mean, this is great news, and I can't wait for us to like discuss what we see and, just hear about this now.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I feel like this is really big news because Boston and Massachusetts in general is such a liberal state that for Massachusetts to go ahead and lift all these restrictions is a big deal.
Right. But anyways, for today's episode, we're just going to talk about some trending news stories from this week that have to do with reopening events and trends. So here we go.
I'm excited. So this first one we've been talking about kind of a lot within our marketing group at Triple Seat. And it's resources for event planners article, your events and proof of vaccination. And we'll link the article in our description for this episode. But okay, so let's talk about the proof of vaccination at events. And what we've heard, up until this point in time from venues and event planners on the topic. I think it's definitely a big topic right now. So the article by Eventbrite that we found discusses some of the positives to requiring proof of vaccination at events and also some of the challenges that it poses. It's definitely a complicated and evolving subject, as we know, but important for us to discuss in the podcast and for, people in the event world and hospitality world to discuss in general. The increases of vaccines is obviously helping because the CDC is seeing the lowest daily infection rates for COVID-19 in nearly a year. It's all over the news. So it's really exciting news, I think. Something positive, because normally everything is like COVID-19, like the pandemic update on the news. And it's always like awful, like grim and sad and horrible, right. But it's starting to make a turn now. And like we said in the intro about Boston, vaccinated people are now allowed to do a lot more than ever before. They can attend private gatherings with others who have been fully vaccinated, often now without a mask, which is awesome. Vaccines also make traveling safer. So there could be an increase in out-of-town guests and speakers or performers at upcoming events, which is exciting. Medium or large indoor gatherings have not been fully approved, but that still leaves outdoor options since the weather is warm and smaller events are happening indoors less and less, I think. So now when it comes to proof of vaccination, according to this article, there are some event planners who are going to require proof of vaccination for entry. Others are requiring all staff members to be vaccinated. And there's also talk about if you're not going to require a proof of vaccination, then at least require a negative COVID test result. And venues are starting to do this too, and talks of vaccinated and non-vaccinated sections at events are definitely real and they're happening right now. So for fans at Yankee Stadium and Citi Field in New York, we'll have to show proof of vaccination to sit in the vaccinated only section. Well, they will not be required to wear masks or socially distance. And Madison Square Garden is also going to be allowing for a vaccinated section at the stadium, allowing for 15,000 fans at sports games, which is super exciting, I think. But like also it's such a hot political topic right now with proof of vaccination. But it's great, definitely great news for sports, concerts, live events, in all of the events that take place at those venues. And hopefully it can set a precedent for other event venues in the state and across the country to do the same. But when it comes to the legal implications, obviously, of requiring proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test at an event, it's very state specific. So some states like Florida and Texas have signed executive orders prohibiting the proof of vaccination for some private businesses, which doesn't surprise me at all.
I know.
It's just like the wild, wild South down there, Florida and Texas, just living it up. But California and obviously New York, as we just said, are on board with having the higher capacity limits for proof of vaccination. I wonder what they'll do. I haven't heard anything for Massachusetts specifically. Have you? I haven't
either. I think the whole concept of the vaccinated section versus the non-vaccinated section is so interesting, because if you literally, there was like photos being shown of like the big section with like a bunch of people, and then the section that had people that were spread out wearing masks. Mm-hmm. So it's literally like the cool side and the not cool side.
Yeah. So strange too. And honestly, like, I mean, it makes sense. Indoor venues, I completely understand. Like, I feel like it does make sense. But I mean, particles travel. Like, it could still, like, it's just so funny to me. I don't know. Like, I understand it makes people feel more comfortable. And I'm not against it. I mean, I got vaccinated, so I'll carry my card anywhere if you want me to. Who wants to see it? But I don't know. It's like the whole thing, like now all of a sudden you can go into like certain grocery stores or coffee shops, and it says like, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask. But like, how do you know if people are telling the truth or not? So like, I mean, I don't know about Massachusetts, but in New Hampshire, it's like everywhere that just there's a sign on the door that says like, honor system.
Right.
But
I mean, that's the whole like debate. It's like you see people walking on the street now and no one's wearing masks anymore, but it's hard. You don't know who's vaccinated versus who's just not wearing a mask because they just don't want to.
And hopefully we get to a point where the numbers are so that like, it doesn't matter if someone's not vaccinated or they are, because like, strength in numbers, I guess.
Right.
For immunity. But so how can event planners verify vaccine status? It's a big question. And there are a variety of ways. So self attestation, I don't know. I can't pronounce that word. Like that's what
the honor system.
Oh, but I can't pronounce that word. It's so funny. There are certain words that like I'm never going to pronounce correctly. And I was an English major, so really bad on my part. But yeah, so honor system during registration with vaccine card information. Also at the door of the event using a specific app that tracks vaccine records. And then New York State is testing a digital scannable pass that would ensure proof of vaccination before attending events. And I think I'm all on board for that, but I do know like some of my conservative friends are going to be like, no way, I'm never not doing that. So I know it shouldn't be a political topic, but it is. It 100, everything is right now though. So we'll see how those things pan out. I just think I don't know. I just think it'd be so much easier because there is like, obviously there's records out there of who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been vaccinated. So why can't they just like, scan your license thing and know that you've been vaccinated? I understand that there's like weird tracking, conspiracy theories out there, but
I can't. I just think it's like, what is an event planner supposed to do? Like, it's obviously it's a very like one side or the other. People have opinions, but obviously an event planner who's like dealing with a big event can't be like, they're not taking a political stance. They're just trying to have the event happen and like bring in the revenue for the event. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation for them to be put into the middle of, because like, who are they supposed to side with, kind of?
Exactly. And it definitely, their personal views obviously come into play as well. Like this, from each person. And like, I don't want to make this a political episode. We don't want any of our episodes to ever be political, but it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I guess it just depends on the venue and the person who's holding the event, what their beliefs are. In the end, I guess that's probably, I don't know what will happen. Just like it's like state specific for like regulations. I feel like it's gonna be person specific for things like this. It's funny because like I am fully vaccinated and I could walk into these stores without a mask, but I don't, because I don't want people to think that I'm like a Republican.
There's so many memes about it on the internet.
It's so hard. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know. I live in an area that's like right down the middle. It's like half Democrat, half Republican. And I'm not even like a Democrat who's like, I always vote Democratic. Like I can be in the middle on things, but I just don't want anyone to think I'm like a super conservative or something.
Oh, I know. That's the struggle. And I think it's just gonna depend state by state, like what the final say is. And this like you said, it's like an evolving thing, this proof of vaccination, but I feel like it's just gonna depend where you are in the world.
Yeah. For sure. And, you know, like we said before, it's definitely just going to vary state by state, business to business, but it's definitely important to know that proof of vaccination is being taken seriously. And it is definitely a route that you can take as an event manager, or, you know, someone who works a venue operator in order to keep your venue and staff safe, for sure. And your attendees, definitely. So we'll see what happens. To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. I'll keep you posted, don't worry.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the next article is a BizBash article called Best Practices for Event Pros Navigating the Hospitality Labor Shortage. So I think it was 2 episodes ago, we were touching upon the fact that the hospitality industry as a whole is kind of seeing a labor shortage due to the fact that many restaurant workers who are laid off are choosing not to return to the hospitality industry for whatever reason. Either they moved away, they found a new job, they just don't want to come back. So it's kind of put all these restaurants who are reopening or restaurants who have been like opening for the first time in this position where they're kind of fighting for the same pool of workers. And so this has been a big challenge. I honestly, when I was out to lunch on Saturday in Boston, I was asking my waiter about it actually. And he was saying that he's like been working overtime because they're so short staffed. And like good for him because he gets the extra hours, but it's also like he also wants to have some days off too.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like such a challenge right now. It's the opposite, the complete
Who
opposite
knew we would
problem.
be in this position, right?
Exactly.
Last year it was the complete opposite, but
the complete
now
opposite problem that we had from last year.
Wait a minute. We have to.
Oh my God, Colby.
What is on your face, Colby? We should just keep this in the podcast because that was so funny that the video like needs to be seen by the whole world.
Oh, well, I'll keep the video in.
My son covered in frosting, I think. I have no idea what that is.
Whipped cream.
I'm afraid to ask. Whipped cream? Ice cream?
So overall, this may be challenging and has been challenging for many restaurants who are basically looking to rehire their staff and increase their restaurants' capacities. And some restaurants may not even have their event team ready and hired back, or maybe you have a brand new person that is taking up your events program since your old person is no longer there. And you're trying to prepare for the upcoming event surge that's coming up now with all the restrictions lifting. So this article kind of gives some advice. So if you sound like this sounds like you and you're in this kind of position, then here are some tips that the BizBash article mentioned to get you back on your feet. So first, you want to reintroduce yourself and form some new relationships. So with different venues, with vendors, maybe you're brand new at your venue and you're kind of picking up the pieces from what the event program had been, since it's been so long for a lot of people that had events. So this may not be the ideal position, but it's definitely important to take the time to confirm like your contacts at different venues and kind of research new venue partners that are in the area and just rebuild all these relationships. The second piece of advice the article said was to lean on technology for additional support. Bingo, triple seat. You know, hopefully you didn't turn your triple seat off during the pandemic because we're seeing everyone come back, just
That's
like
right.
we said.
That's right.
So you better use your beloved event management software to organize, plan, communicate, and basically keep track of every event detail in one place. And using a program like Triple Seat will help you as a solo event planner stay organized, even though you're a team of one. And then as you hopefully get some more staff helping you as we get further on and hopefully your team gets hired back, then new team members will be able to access all the stuff that you've done so far in Triple Seat and pick up where you have been so far. So technology is key. And hopefully, Triple C is helping you out here right now during this exact time that we said that it would. Right now. The next piece of advice that the article mentioned was to make early requests and inquiries with your vendors, with venues, with partners, anyone that you're working with. I mean, the hospitality industry as a whole has been understaffed. So you're seeing new like positions opening and new people in new positions that maybe they had never been in before, joining different vendors, like brand new staff members who maybe you've worked with this vendor for a while, but their whole team has been changed. So it's kind of happening across the board, just to keep that in mind. So this may require some extra time, some extra patience to account for any learning curve. So make sure that you're planning ahead on any asks that you're going to need for vendors and venues. And then always just be sure to ask questions about staffing for events. So if you're having like, you're trying to help plan for a cocktail hour versus dinner service versus bar areas, just making sure what the venue requirements are for the staff, depending on the event size, making sure you have everything planned ahead of time, because of the fact that like some venues are needing to have that extra staff member to serve food, whereas you had it in the past. But at the same time, maybe you don't have that extra staff member, seeing how you can like fill in the holes and just always be prepared ahead of time. And then lastly, the article talks about working together to find creative solutions, which I feel like is just an overarching theme of the whole getting back into events. Everyone's going to have to be patient with each other and work together as we kind of navigate this post-COVID event world, which a lot of our customers and our event planners have said, we've heard them talk about before. Just have a little grace, have a little patience. Let's be kind to each other, and just no one really knows what they're doing right now. It's just kind of bringing back like the muscle memory, but with some other things to consider in the back of your head. So, I mean, if you see a venue or a vendor with staffing shortages, try to work with them to find a solution instead of moving right away to find another partner. So maybe like that has to do with shifting timelines of guest arrival, or adding signage to direct guest places where you maybe couldn't have a staff member, or using technology for certain procedures that maybe you hadn't originally thought of. Just trying to work creatively across the industry and everyone that you work with, and having that patience and being kind and just being a human, because, you know, it's exciting, but it's also just, we're getting back into it. And yeah, we all just want the best for one another. So,
Right. And I think that the hospitality industry as a whole is like showed at the start of the pandemic that we are a very supportive industry with each other, and that we can have patience and be kind. So now it's doing that again, just, you know, but I mean, the circumstances are way better than they were when we did this last year. So,
right, 100%.
So, I mean, yeah, I think that it's definitely taught us a lot as an industry as a whole. So I think that I have a lot of faith that people will be kind to each other and patient with each other.
Me too.
Most people.
I know. We're hoping. No Karens out there. We're done with that.
Please, no Karens. Horrible. Yeah, we don't need that anymore, especially now. Now when things are getting better is like the last moment that you need a Karen.
Right.
So finally, the last article we're going to talk about today was another one from BizBash. And it's about catering trends. And whenever we see a new post about catering trends, we definitely jump right on it, because we know that everyone is trying to come up with the big next thing in terms of a catering trend, because it's still very popular. And we think it's going to continue to be popular moving forward, even after everything is over and things are back to normal, whatever that means. So we found this BizBash article, and we'll definitely link it in the description as well. So it shows off some new ways of serving appetizers that are cute and definitely photo worthy. We loved them. So here's just a few examples. Elegant Affairs, which is a caterer in New York City, the Hamptons, and Long Island, has the coolest way to serve small bites with a literal clothespin that holds together the small bite. So cute. And the bites are served in what looks like a small cupcake wrapper that is held together with a clothespin, clipping it shut. This would be perfect for a baby shower, just saying. Reminds me of a diaper, but that's kind of gross, but it doesn't look like a diaper. So, but the guests can easily grab the clothespin and enjoy the bite. It's really cute, it's classy, and definitely creative. So we love that one. Ridgewell's, which is the caterer in Washington, D.C., has created colorful brownie pops to offer to their clients, and like kind of like the cake pop look, like the ones you get at Starbucks, except with a brownie instead. So having the brownie on the stick instead of anyone touching it fully with their hands makes it both COVID safe and creative to pass around. So we thought that was really cute. Another one was Purple Onion Catering. They're offering grilled cheese and tomato soup samples as appetizers or late night pass snacks for events for their clients in Virginia. It's so cute. So their grilled cheese is cut into a triangle and placed on top of the mini tomato soup cup. I want one.
They're so cute. I love
They're
that
so
combo.
cute.
And the cheese is just like so gooey, so it just like looks good too.
I would eat like 12 of them, but they're adorable. So I'd be like, excuse me, how many of these equals one full sandwich and a bowl of soup? But really cute. Great idea. And lastly, Forks and Fingers Catering in Connecticut. They have a petite version of their tuna poke bowl for past appetizers during a cocktail reception. And it includes all of the ingredients for poke bowl, but just the bite-size amount. So that's also adorable. And I love that. And they're really cute. If you see the pictures, they're really, really adorable. But yeah, think small, like tiny cute things.
I know. I love the poke bowl one because it's like, I mean, I don't know. I love having the small like one bites, but then I also love the little cups that have the little, take your
I
spoon,
agree.
have your little bite,
Yeah,
like
it's
mini
adorable. Like the
size.
little tiny spoons, the little tiny
Yeah.
forks. So
Who
cute.
doesn't love a tiny spoon and a tiny fork?
I have no idea. If whoever does not like that, we can't be friends,
Yeah.
clearly. But yeah, just some cute ideas. Again, get creative with your catering options. And I feel like these are all things that, maybe they've been done before, but I think they're being done at like different, for like more events, not just a wedding. There's like
Right.
people are offering them for like a bunch of different like event types. So I think it's cute.
It's like
Love it.
it's like the standard now. I mean, we all
Yeah.
want to be Pinterest worthy and Instagram worthy and
Mhm.
creative like that. So
Yeah.
we love those trends.
We do. We do. We'll have more for you next week too. We love doing these trend episodes. They're fun. They're fun.
No.
Rachel's really good at finding trends.
I hope, yeah, if anyone's listening and they have other trends that they've heard of or seen, let us know. We always love to be in the know on the trends and like seeing
Yeah,
what's
and especially if like your venue has a trend that you want to talk about, we'd love to, highlight your venue or maybe even have you on to talk about it. That'd be fun. So let us know. We're always available. If you want to chat, just send us your thoughts. We're here for you.
yeah, we're always here.
We're always here. Thank you everyone for joining us this week. And we hope that you all join us again next week.